well as Minister CHughes from Gordon Memorial United Methodist Church, both talking about an activity within the church known as Black Methodists for Church Renewal. And of course, Minister Hughes, we promised during the last segment that we'd give you an opportunity now to talk about some aspects of worship within the church, as well as central jurisdiction and some of the other things that you think our audience might be interested in knowing more about this conference.
Certainly. Thank you, Dr. Haney. One of the most important things that Black Methodists for Church Renewal has allowed us to do is to be able to share who we are as a people and to maintain our cultural perspective in our worship settings. That's extremely important. And when we come together for annual caucuses such as the National Black Methodist for Church Renewal Conference and the upcoming Southeastern Jurisdictional Conference, worship remains a central part of the direction and the tone that's set for that meeting. I think in the life of renewal in local churches, it is important for us to maintain our heritage, to remember who we are and the way that as a culture we have prospered through the years, while also identifying how to be a part of our connectional United Methodist Church. Our upcoming Southeastern Jurisdictional meeting will be held here in Nashville, Tennessee, and the Tennessee Annual Conference has the privilege of hosting that event. We are really looking forward to our opening communion celebration that will be hosted at Clark Memorial United Methodist Church, and that is where Dr. Warren Booker is the pastor. Bishop James Swanson of the Holston Conference will lead us with the preaching and setting the tone for that communion service. In addition to that, we will have a great celebration on Friday evening, and that will be with our keynote speaker, Bishop James King, formerly senior pastor of Brentwood United Methodist Church, as well as Clark Memorial United Methodist Church. So we're calling together voices from the Tennessee Conference and dancers from the Tennessee Conference to join us in a wonderful time of praise and celebration. It gives tribute to who we are, it reminds us of our heritage, and it unites us and helps us understand our part in the great connectional United Methodist Church.
You know, Reverend Edmondson, as the president of the caucus, I would imagine you can tell us some experiences that you've had simply trying to bring all of these individuals together in the state of Tennessee and how all of these things will come together.
Well, this is the 39th meeting of the Southeastern Jurisdiction. So it covers the states of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Virginia, West Virginia, and so also Tennessee and Kentucky. So all these states, the respective entities of those communities are coming together here in Tennessee for a glorious time as we look forward to holding before all people the fact that in 1968 we made that bold claim, our time is now. And so we still believe that our time is now and that we are being called by God to be leaders, to bring about the advocacy of justice and in all areas of life. And so we as the United Methodist Church, the BMCR, the Black Methodist Church Renewal, we hold before the church and hopefully before everyone in the United States as well, the fact that we are about trying to raise up leaders and to continue the process of educating, inspiring, and teaching young men and young women that God is attentive to us.
You know, when you think about this conference now, you'll have this annual meeting, but now what have you been doing in terms on the local level and on some of the state levels in order to bring all of this about?
Okay. Some of the things that we are involved in annually, we have a Harambe, which is the time where we have our young people gather together from all our respective churches, and we take them for a week at one of our historically black universities or colleges. And they spend that week with persons who help them understand the place of education and worship, how God is the one that truly educates us and brings us into all of our various experiences. Also on an annual level, we have the John G. Coy Scholarship Banquet, at which we give out 4 scholarships to high school seniors, and we also recognize Dr. John G. Cora, who has been so awesome in the way that he has given himself to be used by the church to bring forth the glory of God and to continue the legacy that we have as African American people. We have annually also convocations. And at these convocations, we are seeking to inspire congregations to put forth their best foot. And what comes out of these convocations is that we have what's called CRCs. These are congregational resource centers. These churches shine bright in various areas of worship, stewardship, education, any aspect of the church that is needed. There's a CRC somewhere that has been inspired and that is doing the work of God to help empower the church and all its leaders.
You know, as the worship coordinator, Minister Hughes, what do you see as one of the major issues dealing with bringing all of these churches together and coming up with some kind of common method in terms of dealing with the heritage?
Well, I must say that there is an excitement around coming together, blending voices, blending different styles. So that is one of the key elements that makes it an opportunity for us to grow. We will not have many opportunities to get together to rehearse, but the time that we will have will be well spent. We have Helen Allen is one of the persons, Diane Maloney, who are working together with us to make this be one of the most high times and celebrations that we can. I think one of the things that Reverend Edmondson mentioned in terms of leadership development, when we as Black Methodists for Church Renewal come together, we focus on getting back to some of the basics that we tend to miss. Often we think that because we are part of a globally connected church that our identity has to be changed. But what we try to do is focus on community and on family and on the personal touch that's required to reach out to young people, strengthen them. Reverend Hayes is always emphasizing the need that even though in a world of technology that we are involved in, that we cannot neglect the personal aspect of ministry. And BMCR helps to recenter us.
Very good, very good. And of course, we're getting ready for our second commercial break, after which we'll come by and give the two of you an opportunity to talk about some of the future plans that you might have in reference to this organization. Of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.